Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Deborah Smith. I am the owner of DD Logistics, a women-owned small business, freight broker business. Today we're going to revisit a topic that we previously talked about, which is surety bonding. Now, there is multiple different ways to get bonded, but this video we're going to talk about freight broker surety bond. A freight broker surety bond keeps you active in the trucking industry. It is not for a carrier. I've had a lot of questions on that. Well, if you're a truck driver, do you need a surety bond? A surety bond is just for a freight broker business. And what it does is it protects your carriers if they are not paid on time. If a truck driver is not paid on time, what they can do is file against your surety bond. And in New York State, you need to be covered with a $75,000 surety bond. This surety bond will go off of your credit. The FMCSA requires that you have a surety bond to stay active as a freight broker. And once again, it is not for you, it is to protect your carriers. If they are not paid on time, they can file against the bond to collect the funds from the bond for the payment that they did not receive. A freight broker surety bond in the US requires $75,000 in coverage. This will go off of your personal credit score. It can cost you anywhere annually down payment between $2,000 and $7,000 US dollars based on your personal credit score. There are multiple different companies that you can work with. JW Surety Bonds is one of them. What an agent will do is have you fill out an application to see if you are approved for bonding. When they look at your personal credit score, please keep in mind that they are going to look deep into that to see what your down payment will be. A freight broker surety bond is an annual payment. You can pay consecutively within a weekly term. I pay annually. It's an annual expense for my business that keeps me active in the trucking industry. At one point in time, a freight broker bond was $10,000 for entry. Over time, a lot of scamming, a lot of double brokering, a lot of things have happened in the trucking industry that made the FMCSA up the bond to $75,000. The barrier to entry has changed drastically from $10,000 to $75,000, making it just a little bit tougher to walk in and be part of the industry. Please understand that I am here to educate you. You need your bond to stay active in the trucking industry. That is something that is extremely important. I had a situation, and I'm being open and honest here, where I had a carrier who filed against my bond that was already paid. This carrier was already paid. Maybe on their end they were a little unorganized, but when I went back and looked at the documents, I understood that this carrier was already paid, but they filed against my bond. That was something that I had to explain to the surety bond for my own protection. Sometimes trucking companies can be unorganized and file against your bond, not knowing that, hey, mistakes happen. We're all human. A payment didn't go through, maybe it was pending, maybe you didn't see the payment, maybe your bookkeeper or your accountant looked past it, but overall, this company was paid, and I had to fight that. I had to show proof that I paid that company on time and that I was not at fault for that surety bond claim. Please know that that can potentially happen to you. That's why it's important to keep your documents in order, your rate confirmations in order, everything. A majority of what I do is through email. and you can screenshot your emails. It's a way for you to keep your information within your email conversations, back and forth. Those are all helpful when it comes to a surety bond claim because you're going to have to prove that you paid that carrier on time. And if you didn't, they will deactivate the surety bond. It is not for a truck driver, it is for the freight broker. I also want to mention that this is going to be one of your biggest expenses when you are entering into the trucking industry. By far the biggest expense. You're going to have a lot of small expenses, but the surety bond is the biggest one. If you do not have it within the trucking industry, you will have a hard time finding a factoring company. You will not have access to load boards or tools that you need as far as DAT. DAT is a massive load board that helps you connect with carriers. But if they see that you are not bonded, there will be no access to DAT. So it keeps you compliant and you need it to start a brokerage. There is also other verbiage for a surety bond, which is the BMC 84. If you hear that term at any point in your career, that also refers to the surety bond. The FMCSA wants to make sure that brokers are operating in an ethical, professional way. When you are first starting your freight brokerage, what you're going to create is something called a company packet. This is a packet that you're going to send to shippers to show them that you are active in the industry. This certificate, this company packet will have your surety bond. It will create a cover letter. You can add your W-9. There are documents within that company packet that will be an introduction to the shipper to show them that you're compliant within the industry. Um, Other things you can add in there are your CSAC code to move containers. And I want to post a video on this as well, a company packet. It's extremely important because that is your introduction. A lot of the times when we're cold calling or we're cold emailing, you want to present yourself in a professional way. These are documents that you combine together to show a shipper that you are reliable, you are professional, you are organized, all your ducks are in a row. It's also important to know that your annual premium will change over time based on how you're working on your credit. So if you have bad credit, but over the year, let's say 2024, you are working on your credit to grow your score, your surety bond in the following year can potentially go down. That was the situation I was in. When I first started, it was extremely high in the $6,000 range. The more you work on your personal credit score, the more your annual premium will come down. So please keep that in mind as well. Your annual premium will change. It will never be the same because it's based on your personal credit history and your experience. And I think as well, and don't quote me on this, but how long you've been in business. I think that can affect and fluctuate the numbers as well. And this wouldn't be one of my educational videos if I didn't share 5 surety bond companies that you can utilize today. Number 1, JW Surety Bonds. Number 2, Bryant Surety Bonds. Number 3 is Lance Surety Bonds. Number 4 is NFP Surety. And number 5 is suretybonds.com. These are all reputable companies that will help you get a freight broker surety bond. If this video was helpful and you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.